his opponent, but I want to stress that this is his first time playing, apparently, from what I understand from the admins. Unless I misunderstood, either way, let's get into the action. This is Rifkin, I'm casting with Ord, and in the lower left corner of the map, representing Team Acer, it is none other than the Red Terran MMA.
And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner in the lighter blue, it is from VP Venue, Slivko.
And I love that StarCraft for once gave us epic intro music. It's actually got some good stuff going on in the background. Okay, as I said before, MMA, I've sat here and I've watched them from afar. I've seen them participate in the Eastern Team Story Cup a couple times from here or there in other tournaments. I've never had the luxury, the pleasure and privilege of casting him firsthand, so this is a wonderful experience for me. I do hope to see some awesome action come out of him today. Slivko, though, no small fry, just finished taking out Cass, of all people, Empire's Cass, to get here.
And he did it, I won't say decisively, but there were some very solid games that we got to watch there. And I'm also happy to report to everyone who's curious right now that my pizza, it's on the way, so don't worry.
Oh, that sounds so good, because what I plan to do after this is just pass the hell out. Guys, Ord and I have been up since 4 and 5 a.m. respectively to cast this. It is quite ridiculous, but we love StarCraft, so we're here every weekend. ZOTAC Cup North America, ZOTAC Europe. If you're tuning in for the first time, I hope you're enjoying the broadcast, and I hope to see you again for more. Either way, it's been an exciting day with some pretty good games leading up to this point, so no regrets whatsoever.
Exactly. You can't hope for more. Sometimes you get like finals where the games are great, but you're not invested in this type of thing, though. Slivko has fans. MMA has crazy number of fans. I'm a fan of both players. Yeah.
And much love to Partouf, Ord, and Freeze for retweeting about this. Let your friends know what's going on, guys, because this is going to be a good series. People call him 3-0 for MMA in chat. I say no way, no how.
We do have, actually, the refinery on the way already. Command Center first as well, so MMA being a bit bold, and it would have been fascinating to see an earlier pool.
I'm actually just thinking about this. This has got to be so scary for Slivko to consider, because MMA's partners, his teammates, are some of the best Zergs in Europe. So there's no way that MMA is going to have a weak TBZ.
True. Very true.
Now, as far as build goes, MMA actually going with a very similar build to what Cass had done in the previous game. Yep. And Slivko ran rampant over top of that. We'll have to see if same mistakes are made, if great successes are mimicked, all that good jazz. But we don't have a Reaper opening, which is probably a nice sigh of relief here for Slivko, because I'm sure after dealing with Cass, winning or not, he's done with Reapers for the time being.
Yeah. And with this, actually, we do have the factory on the way, a whole extra space away. Yeah, personal touch, maybe. Second refinery also coming out for MMA, and looks like he plans to create more of a wall here with this SCV. Yeah, he does indeed. So he seems to be expecting some early aggression out of Slivko, who's already got speed on the way.
Well, completely understandable, too. I mean, he was scouted. It was very much like hands up, like, red-handed type moment, but will Slivko actually try to punish this? Because it's going to be hard to do so, especially when you're playing someone like MMA, he's going to have, I mean, with the bunker, he'll have the Widow Mines out shortly as well. The Hellions will be a little bit delayed, of course, this reactor is a little bit late, but still, he'll have units on the field, and he should be able to hold any sort of, well, anything, because there's no Banley Nest, there's no Roach Warren. If Slivko were to be aggressive, okay, Roach Warren now coming out, still, Slivko not going to be able to capitalize on this too early.
Yeah, MMA's already got the starport coming to second racks, this factory with the Widow Mine, which is gonna park itself right next to that bunker at the front. He's gonna be nice and secure for a while. And Slivko's still droning up right now. We're looking at 29 to 36 for our worker count.
You know, it's funny, I love hearing you slap the button, because I know you're swapping to the unit tab, but on the our lovely UI here, we can just see them down here in the middle. It's very nice, very handy, and very convenient.
Flamga's good guy. Engineering Bay also going up for MMA, so a nod to Cass again. As we were continuously seeing him go with the double Engineering Bay wall off.
I like this incorporating it as part of his wall. He knows that at some point in the game there are most likely going to be banelings. It's a Zerg player in a Terran matchup. Yes, there's going to be banelings. So having at least part of your wall sturdy and reliable is always a nice thing. It's also kind of a magnet too. Like maybe Slivko decides to focus on the engineering bay instead of the supply depots. Yeah, I mean, we could really overanalyze it, but the reality is I just like people who put engineering bays in their wall off.
Yeah, and I like this so much out of a player like MMA, the supply depot on the right-hand side. Just spotting, just gives him that extra second of knowledge to see if there's an overlord coming in or maybe some kind of ridiculous drop. And actually, unfortunately, this dropship moving through the middle, I have to assume MMA is doing that on purpose. He must want Slivko to know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to know Slivko's going to have overlords and the watchtower. There's probably no sneaking into it, so why not just make it very obvious where you're going? Try and bait out maybe Zerglings to go the wrong direction. Either way, there's 2 Widow Mines associated with this. Even though there are roaches to clean up the Marines, these Widow Mines could potentially pick off a few drones before going down.
And the boost there, and the little U-turn happens. Widowmine gets to burrow, and Slivko with just the... Oh, that was fantastic. Spore Caller created at the same time the Widowmine shell was coming in, so no units lost so far by Slivko. And the dropship still harassing.
Oh, that one Widowmine did get some couple hits up here, though. 4 workers picked off, Marines dropped, picked up. But
Spore
there's this,
crawlers.
yeah, Spore in the spine. This is going to shut down MMA's drop potential at the main. But the Widowmine, unfortunately, on Burrow does get taken out as the Spore Crawler does reposition itself. Oh, and man, going to get another big Widowmine hit off on most of the Zerglings.
And then the Overseer starts. That's a little
I
rough.
can't, you know what, I can't even compare. Widowmines, like, are the new nukes. Where you're just sitting there like, will it target the right unit? Is it going to go? Like...
Yes.
Edge of your seat just wait, but here's something too more popular out of a lot of Terran players. Get that Viking out early. Try and clean up some overlords and make paths for your dropships later on, but that's not going to be the case here. We got 2 siege tanks and a lot of Marines coming down through the middle of the map, just marching strong. There is a medevac here, so they will be able to get some healing. MMA currently without combat shields, but about... Actually, just started them. Stim's already done, though, which is more than enough to start pushing into this.
Momentary supply block there on Slivko, and MMA may be hitting this fantastic little soft timing before Glue Reconstitution, before Pneumatized Carapace, Centrifugal Hooks, all of those upgrades that our Zerg player really wants to have.
Siege tank's positioned so nicely with some nice focus fire. Might not have to worry about these Banelings. Look at the pullback.
Oh,
Banelings being focus fired down, not even connect to a single Marine. The tanks go down to the roaches, but they did their job, Ord.
Oh, the continued split is here. Bunker still on the way. More reinforcements coming for MMA. This third base goes down.
The perfect.
Drones aren't pulled. They're still here.
Just the perfect denial of this base. The control over top of the Banelings, the focus fire. But the roaches are fighting the Marines away from the tank. He's got to back up. MMA does have that other tank unsieged. Bunker completes, though. And he's going to take this fight quite handily.
Slivko still engaging there. That was a little bit unnecessary. Taking some damage on most of those roaches, but did manage to retreat in time. So much red is still streaming across the map, and Slivko really has nothing going for him. Looks like he's going to try and get some roaches to swing around from behind. He's trying to establish a base.
Yeah, if he had some more Banelings, maybe there's potential to come back to this with the tanks being maybe out of fighting range of the Marines, but now being baited right into the tank fire is Slivko. MMA going to take a nice fight here. Oh, these roaches are just going down so quickly, Ord. And no flank.
Coming.
Like, Slivko really needed a couple Zerglings to come in from the right side and just flank with that attack.
Okay, so right now we're looking at an army supply of 41 for Slivko versus the 64 of MMA. MMA actually supply blocked, surprisingly, but that's partially because he's got a lot of units on the way. The supply depots are going to be maybe a second or two late, but he's also taking his third base at the same time.
I'm a little shocked, too. Despite how much of a massacre just happened at the third base here of Slivko, very few workers were actually lost through that.
True. He did manage to retain most of those, really only losing roaches and zerglings and banelings. The supply is still fairly close, and if Slivko can manage to get a third base mining, he's still in this game.
Oh, well, I'd say even without the third base mining, he's still in the game. But the question is, of course, how do you fight MMA when you're not at your best? You've got to. It's not enough to match MMA. You have to be ahead of MMA in every way possible. And the scary thing was, we saw the tanks, the control on them. I mean, Gary Oak and I yesterday were talking about how more players need to start relying less purely on the Widow Mines and incorporating these tanks, and MMA with just 2 tanks has done so much this game, Ord.
And that bunker finally is getting taken out. These Marines don't want to die. They're going all the way into the corner, and because they do that, the army is that much farther away from protecting this third base. Oh, I thought MMA was going to push forward to that, but he doesn't. He pulls back.
Now, there's quite a few banelings, and his army is split. I'd love for him to go for a drop while he goes for a big attack, but we'll have to see what happens. I mean, he's got actually the capability to doom drop, as there's very little anti-air on the field. All these medevacs could load up full. Yes, indeed, that's going to be the case. And getting into the main is going to be disgusting, Ord.
Oh, there's nothing there.
It's just nothing. Everything's in the middle of the map. The banelings are not where they need to be. When they roll in, the tanks will already be sieged. Drones being pulled effective immediately.
Widow mines all burrowing, and these Zerglings have to come up one at a time, one at a time. Banelings gotta hope desperately they don't get anything landed on top of them.
Oh, some nice connections with both players, though. Nice. Medevacs are in danger from these spore crawlers as well as the mutalisks, and actually Slivko holds that doom drop. Meanwhile, attack at the 4th, though, actually the 3rd, however you want to consider it, is going to drive these drones away. Some nice stutter step coming out of MMA.
Slivko handled that way better than I would have thought.
I thought Slivko was dead in the water with that. I mean, he dodged around those Widow Mines perfectly. He came in from the south and wiped out those tanks, allowing the banelings to just chase everything around the base. However, this one Widow Mine still causing a bit of grief here.
Oh man, mining has been difficult. This base that finally did get set up is dead.
It's a 60 supply difference right now. Going to make a big difference as we have these mutalisks who can't actually engage the army. They're here for the medevacs and the medevacs only and primarily. Nice Widow Mine is going off on the ground forces.
Oh, MMA's army is actually split in half here, so this is not the best engagement he's going to hope for. He's got a lot of forces back home. He does still have a drop in the main that's going to be able to take out overlords left and right.
And the queen went down as well. Let's not forget about that. Larva inject, so important when you're dealing with this many forces coming out of MMA. Slivko, though, getting a little overzealous in the middle of the map, chasing too far. Good game. Is thrown down. Oh. MMA does not disappoint, Ord.
Oh, that was everywhere. That was so nice.